God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. He is higher than a skyscraper, and He's deeper than a submarine. He is wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And He's known me and He's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. He is higher than a skyscraper and deeper than a submarine. He is wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And He's known me and He's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. 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 And He holds us in His hands.
Hello everyone. As you can see, Zaza is fast asleep at the moment, but I've got another friend with me today who wants to join in our Bible adventure. This is Muggs Baloney. Now, Muggs is going to help with various bits and pieces today. Could I tell you what's happened so far in the Bible adventure? Yes, of course, Muggs. With the help of the boys and girls at home, we'll tell you everything that we've done so far. So in our first week together, we saw how God created everything good, including all the people. And He intended the people to be His friends and to spread His goodness all over the world. And we learned a memory verse together. And boys and girls, see if you can remember it. We'll shout it out together so Muggs can learn it. So it was Genesis 1 verse 1, and it was, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Well done. And then the week after, we did about the fall of creation, when everything went wrong because Adam and Eve stopped trusting God, didn't they? And they decided to do things their own way and eat the fruit from the forbidden tree, the knowledge of good and evil. And we saw how that was really bad news. But then we put on our Where's Jesus glasses, and we saw where the good news was. And the good news was that one day God said that He would send a man who would crush evil under His feet. And we know now that that man was actually Jesus. And that brought us to our second memory verse. See if we can shout that out to Muggs. So it was Luke 19 verse 10. The Son of Man came to seek and to save that which was lost. Well done. Glad some of you remembered that. And who was the Son of Man? Well, it was Jesus, our rescuer. So we've done about the creation, how it was good, and we've done about the fall, how it all went bad. And this week we're still in the book of beginnings for our story. We're in the book of Genesis still, the book of beginnings, and we're going to tell the story of Noah. Now, a lot of you will have heard of Noah, but you probably don't know so much about Noah's wife. Is her name Joan? No. Why do you think her name might be Joan? Because you've heard of Joan of Arc. Oh, yeah, I see. Well, Joan of Arc was a lady in history, but she's not Noah's wife. I'm going to let Noah's wife introduce herself. So let's go and meet Noah's wife for today's story.
Greetings, Ebbyites. Welcome to the Ark. I'm Nora, Noah's wife. Do you know my name was never recorded in the Bible? It just says Noah's wife. So I thought I'd introduce myself and give my side of the story. I see that you've got rainbows in your windows to celebrate your brave heroes, people who are devoting themselves to saving other people's lives. Well, let me tell you the story of the first rainbow. But so you don't go getting fat, eating Cocoa Pops on the sofa, I know what yours like. I'd like you to join in with the actions and the sound effects. So when I say sad, I want you to make a sad noise, like, uh-huh. When I say good, I'd like you to put your thumbs up. When I say camel, I'd like you to say, goodness gracious me, because that's how camels speak, they do. And when I say raining, I want you to go pitter patter, and slap your thighs, but not too hard because it hurts. Here we go, rain, pitter patter. Brilliant. And finally, when I say float, I'd like you to float around the room as if you were floating on a boat. And we'll make a funny noise just to make it a bit more fun. So we'll go float, woo, like that. Okay, we're ready for the story of God's first rainbow. God was sad. Very sad. Ever since Adam and Eve walked away from him, things had got from bad to worse. Everywhere he looked, he saw people making bad choices, hurting each other, hating each other, messing up his beautiful world. So God had a plan to give the world a clean start. That's when he talked to my husband, Noah. You see, God saw that Noah was a good man. Not perfect, mind you. Do you know, he slurps his coffee, he's got smelly feet, and he snores. He snores like a warthog. But I'll grant you, Noah is a good man. Well, after God talks to him, Noah comes up to me and he says, Nora, you know you've always fancied going on holiday. In fact, you've often said you'd like to go on a safari or even on a cruise. Well, you'll like this idea. God has a plan for us and we're going to go on a safari cruise for the whole family. Sounds good, I says. Sounds brilliant, but sounds a bit odd. How can we go on a cruise? No sea around here. Not many animals either for a safari. What has God told you to do exactly, Noah? Well, you'll never guess what airbrain scheme God had hatched with Noah. God told Noah to build a boat. A huge boat. A ginormous boat. A boat big enough to hold all of our family and 2 of every kind of animal. A safari cruise, my eye. It was more like moving into a zoo. No, I says, I'll mend your socks. I'll cook your breakfast. I'll even put up with your snoring. But if you expect me to clean up after those elephants, you've got another thing coming. Well, Noah built the boat and it took him ages. We were the laughing stock of the whole neighbourhood. Nobody believed we'd need a boat around here. And then, when it was finished, all the animals came. Even the tortoises got here eventually. Don't know how they got here. Must have been a God thing. But anyway, when all the animals were safely in the boat, God shut the door. And no sooner had me and Noah and the 3 boys and their wives settled down with a mug of cocoa than it started to rain. Pitter patter. It rained for 40 days. Pitter patter. It rained for 40 nights. Pitter patter. It rained harder than it ever rained before. Pitter patter. Well, as you can see, all that damp played havoc with my hair. But all the animals, they were as good as gold. Apart from them camels. Goodness gracious me. They never stopped moaning about the weather. Always had the hump, they did. It rained pitter-patter. So hard that the streams and the rivers and even the seas burst their banks and shores and began to flood. And the boat began to float. Woo! It floated, woo, above the trees. It floated, woo, above the hills. And then above the mountains too. It floated, woo, for days and weeks and months. And then it stopped, stuck on top of a mountain. Ooh, open a window, Noah, I says. Let's see if the water's going down. I've got to get off this boat away from those grumbling camels. Goodness gracious me. But the water took ages to go down. It's still flooded out there, Nora, Noah says. I know, I'll send out a dove, and if it doesn't come back, we'll know there is dry land out there. So Noah opens the window, he does, and out flies the dove. Well, we hoped it wouldn't come back, but not long afterwards, oh, there it is. It flew back. Oh, it's not finding anywhere to perch, says Noah. So a few days later, we sent the dove out again, hoping for a better result. Well, this time it seemed to take a lot longer to come back. And we were getting really hopeful that maybe it wasn't going to come back and there was dry land for it out there. But there it was, we could see it coming, flying through the clouds towards us. Oh, and this time it brought back an olive leaf in its beak. Exciting. That meant that there was dry ground out there, that there were trees poking through. Thank you. And then, so a few days later, Noah sent out the dove again. And this time, we waited, and we waited, but it didn't come back. Oh. I think it must have found somewhere to perch, says Noah. Then God opened the door of our boat. We'd been there for over a year. But now lockdown was over. Hooray! Come out, God called. The world is dry. The world is clean. And now you and your family and all the animals can have children and fill the earth with life again. Hooray! We shouted. And yay, I thought, I can get my hair done now. We were all so happy. God was happy too. So he painted the world's first rainbow in the sky. And he said to us, he said, I'd like you to remember what I've done for you. And we're going to celebrate this fresh, clean world. I promise that I won't ever send a flood like this again. While even the camels, goodness gracious me, were really happy. They even stopped moaning and they joined in with Noah's singing. So I'm going to let Noah and the camels sing you a song now, but I'm going to say goodbye because I'm off to get my hair done. So bye from Nora. Enjoy the song. Bye.
Bring me sunshine. Hello? In your smile. Show me your teeth. Bring me laughter. All the while. Oh, yes. In this world where we live, there should be more happiness. So much joy you can give to each brand new bright tomorrow. Make me happy through the years. Never bring me any tears. Let your love be as warm as the sun from up above. Bring me fun, bring me sunshine, bring me love. Bring me sunshine in your smile. Come on, bring me laughter all the while. And in this world where we live, there should be more happiness. So much joy you can give to each brand new bright tomorrow. Make me happy.
You stay at home and lock the doors.
Through the years.
Really likes us to my puppets.
Never bring me
Oh yes, in needy pots.
any tears. May your love be as warm as the sun.
Obviously never lived in a desert.
Bring me fun, bring me sunshine, bring
Take
me
it
love,
away.
sweet love. Bring me
Take
fun,
him away.
bring me sunshine, bring me love.
Oh yes. Hey brother, yes? Knock knock.
Bring me
Who is that?
love.
Interrupting camels.
Sweet, sweet,
Interrupting
sweet
camels.
love.
Come on, Jimmy boy.
love.
We need to take you away now. That's it. Go lie down over there. Ah, that's it.
You like the song then, Zaza? So that's the story of Noah and his ark as told by his wife Nora. You don't think his wife was really called Nora? You think I'm telling Porky Pies? Well, you're right. She probably wasn't called Nora. But it's not Porky Pies. It's what you call poetic license when you add details to the story. It's like the ark wasn't really like our kitchen table covered in fluffy toys. It was much, much bigger than that, and it had real animals in it. But it was fun, wasn't it? You're going to have a go at poetic license. Oh, are you feeling imaginative? The next time I ask you where all the biscuits have gone, you're going to say you don't know. That's not poetic license, Zaza. That is definitely Porky Pies. I haven't got my funny glasses on. I know, it's because I'm going to put them on Mugs, because Mugs is going to help us this week with the Where's Jesus glasses. So I'm going to just settle you down here, but don't go to sleep, okay? Because I'm going to help Mugs with the glasses. There we go. So Mugs, there we are. You're going to wear them Where Jesus glasses, because Noah and the Ark is a very ancient story written long before Jesus came to earth. So how does the story of Noah give us a clue about what Jesus would one day do for us? Well, firstly, we see that Noah saved the world from total destruction and gave it a clean start, and that's what Jesus did for us. And secondly, everyone who made the ark the safe place was saved from death and given an opportunity to start again. And again, that's what Jesus does for us. So you see, there is the good news right there, even in that ancient story of Noah and the ark. So we're going to hand over to Funny Bunny now, who's going to teach us this week's memory verse.
Hello, boys and girls. It's me, Funny Bunny, back to teach you a memory verse. Do you know, just like in the world in Noah's day, people are still making bad choices, hating each other and hurting each other, making a mess of God's beautiful world. But with Jesus as our friend, he helps us to put things right in our own lives and in the world around us. Don't forget God's goodness is more powerful than the bad in our world. So our memory verse today is, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 12:21. Can you say it with me? Ready? Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 12:21. One more time. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 12:21. Now, we're going to play a game. Now, I can't bark like Dada, but I can wiggle my ears. So, I'm going to miss out some words, and when I wiggle my ears, you say what the missing words are, and see if you can say all the memory verse on your own. Here we go. Do not be overcome by, but overcome with. Romans 21. Did you manage to do that? I hope you did. Keep practicing and then you will remember it. Well done. Why don't we go next door and meet Anne Googly, because she's got another really fun activity for us to do. Come on, let's go.
Hello, darlings. Welcome. Great Aunt Googly here. Remember, there are aunts and there are great aunts. And quite frankly, I'm the greatest of all. Now, I have such a fun activity planned for us today. Now, you might notice behind me that there is a rainbow, and I know many of you have been really busy painting rainbows to stick in the windows to say thank you to all those doctors and nurses and all the other really kind people who are helping us right now. And you might want to do that. You might want to put some more rainbows in, or renew your rainbow, or put a rainbow in chalk on your driveway. But that's not my activity today, because although rainbows are in our story, I was thinking of the boat, the ark that was floating. And I've got an activity today called Will It Sink or Will It Float? Exciting! For this activity, all you will need is a big glass. The bigger the better. This is great Uncle Googly's favourite beer glass, but he won't miss it. Now, let's see. Now, first of all, you will need some water. Just ordinary water at the tap, and put in about that much. So, that much, and maybe a little bit more, because really it doesn't matter. Just sort of a big lot of water. But so you've got a space for other things. Now, will it sink or will it float? So first of all, will it sink or will it float? We're going to put some oil in our water. So what do you think? Will it sink or will it float? Now, for all the ingredients we're using today, you must ask your grown-up if you can use them. Okay, otherwise I might get into trouble, and we don't want that, do we? No. So, oil, any cooking oil, and you just pour it in, pour. Will it sink or will it float? Can you guess? Oh, look what's happening. Oh, look at that. I hope you can see that. That kind cameraman there is zooming in for you. There we are. You can see that the oil is actually floating on the water. Now, did you guess that? If you did, well done. Brownie points to you. Now, the next thing that you can add to your oil and water in your will it sink or will it float game is some golden syrup. Here we are. I've warmed the spoon, so hopefully it will slip off quite quickly. Now, this is ooey gooey sticky stuff. So handle it with care. Here we go. So will it sink or will it float? Oh, it is. What do you think? What's it doing? Is it sinking? Is it floating? Let's add a little bit more so we can be sure. Here we go. There we go. Oh, look, I think, yes, it's definitely sinking. So look at that. We've got our oil that's floating on our water and our syrup that's sunk right to the bottom because apparently, awfully clever Uncle Googly told me, it's dense. That's why it sinks. Could be why I sink too. Now, we've got our 3 ingredients there. Now, if you've got some food colouring, you can go one step further. So take some food colouring. I've got some nice blue here. Now, if you do it a very little amount, just a teensy little drop, like a little fairy's tear. Here we go. Oh, will it sink or will it float? Can you see? It can't seem to decide. I've got one bit that's on the top of the oil and one bit that's at the bottom. Let's try a bigger blob, shall we? Blobby blob blob. Oh, look at that. It's sunk. It's sunk to the bottom. There we are. Okay, now it's time to drop in some other things. Let's get this out the way so you can see. I hope you can see that. Oh, yes, oh, it's very pretty, isn't it? Now, things that you might find around the house, like a bit of blue tack, for instance. Let's see, will it sink or will it float? What do you think? Here we go. Oh, it sank. But what about a bean? A bean. Here we are. Hope it's not one of those magic beans. Oh, look at that. It's floating in the oil. Let's try something else. What about an elastic band? Oh, hold on. What happened to the bean? It sank. It just took a while. Okay, and elastic band. Oh, now that's floating. That's definitely floating. What about a bit of this polystyrene stuff? Let's see. What do you think? Will it float or will it sink? Oh, look at that. It's like an iceberg floating on the top. Now, what else do I have here? I've got a dice from a game. Let's see. Will it sink or will it float? Let's have a go. In it goes. Oh, sank to the bottom. I've got great Uncle Googly's earplug here. I don't think he'll miss it. So let's try this, shall we? Oh, will it sink or will it float? Oh, that's a floating one. So as you can see, you can try lots of different things. I'll just try raisin because I don't know what that will do and I want to find out. Will a raisin sink or float? Oh, it's a sink. So finally, I'm going to put my little man here to see if he'll sink or float. Has he been doing his swimming lessons? That's what we want to know. In you go then. It's nice and warm. Oh, look, he's floating. He has been doing his swimming lessons. He's actually going sideways. I don't know if you can see. There he is. Oh, he's turning around with the glass. There he is, floating with the earplug and the polystyrene. Now, to end with, we are going to, let's see, make sure you can see that. There we are. To end with, we are going to put one of these in. Here we go. This is a vitamin C soluble tablet. And what you do is you put one of these in, okay? There we are. And this will be the very last thing that you can put in because this will mix it all up, so to speak. Just watch what happens. Here we go. There. Can you see? Now, it might not do anything for a little moment, but oh yes, there it is, fizzing. It's fizzing. I love things that fizz, don't you? There we are. Fizz, fizz, fizz. And
There we go. Now, have you got that in the camera? Yes? There we go. And that's fizzing, and you can see all the fizz, all the air bubbles coming up from the bottom right up, and it starts to go through the oil. Look at that. And it's mixing up, how you see, it's mixing up all that food colouring, so it's making it all go blue. There. So I hope you have fun with that. Even if you haven't got all of those ingredients, even if you've just got oil and water, you can have fun with will it float or will it sink. So I just used water, oil, golden syrup, food colouring, and the awfully nice person is waving at me, and I don't know why he's waving at me, so I will just continue with what I'm doing, and we're going to have to leave it there, I think. So have lots of fun with that. So I'm going to say goodbye, but before I do, and before it's goodbye from all of us, I would just like to remind you, if I could be in the shot, please, nice Mr. Cameraman. Thank you. Back on the star of the show, eh? Thank you. Lovely, lovely. Okay, darlings, before I say goodbye, I would just like to remind you that God made you, God loves you, and God wants to be your friend. So don't forget that. So bye-bye from me. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Have fun.